talked about Avi Networks when discussing the acquisition. Just want to go over in a little bit more depth what Avi Networks is. They are, as mentioned, an application delivery controller. What that kind of comes down to is they do load balancing and then some, right? And where Avi Networks is different is they recognize that modern applications typically scale out a little bit farther, smaller services, wider scale. And how do you handle that? Well, you'll decouple the control from the data plane, which is exactly what they did. They created an Avi controller, which can integrate with multiple different types of cloud and on-prem resources, and use that controller to deploy and configure their service engines, if you will, the actual load balancers that do all of the real work. So going back onto track now, we'll talk about NSX and where it came from, right? It started out as NSX V, meaning just vSphere, just running on ESX. But in order to take on all of these workloads, as you see here from public cloud down to private cloud, they realized they had to decouple NSX from ESX. And that's where NSXT came in. The idea behind a network virtualization platform that is not directly coupled with the hypervisor, can run on multiple hypervisors and in the cloud. However, for those that still have NSXV, they are still putting some R&D into it. The last release was in April, 6.4.5. But if you are looking at something like an NSX platform for network virtualization, and you do want to use NSX specifically, definitely go with NSXT. The latest release was in September, and it's NSXT 2.5, and it's absolutely full-featured on par with NSXV. And right now, if you're already running NSXV, I'd highly recommend looking at what the migration would take in order to take those next steps. At this point, I would say plan for a long migration just to make sure that during the process there's no disruption to your network infrastructure. So what's new in NSXT 2.5? First, great enhancements in analytics and visibility. As I mentioned, being able to dive a whole bunch deeper into both the security and networking layer as it relates to the NSX platform. Multi-cloud security, meaning now we can deploy rule sets to different clouds, whether that's Azure or AWS or on-prem to your NSX deployment on-prem. Using one policy, configure all, right? Make sure that common workloads are being secured in the same manner. Further extending the security around the layer 7 capabilities, that web application firewall type functionality, introducing multi-tenancy into the VPN, simplifying operations by integrating with Log Insight, having its own dedicated content pack now available, automated drafts and rollback for the distributed firewall is another new feature that's been added in. And for those that need a FIPS 142-2 compliance, it's ready, NSXT 2.5. And when we talk about enhanced security around NSX and what's been done, it really starts with the App Defense story back in 2017, which analyzes the application based on its known good state, creating what you could think of as goodware. Then you have vSphere Platinum, which took that app defense, coupled it with vSphere, did a few security enhancements to what was available within vSphere, layered that together as one single offering. With NSX included, of course, to provide micro-segmentation so that you can create those granular policies, allowing or denying traffic between given workloads and VMs and application types. With Carbon Black, with that acquisition, this further enhances this story by feeding in all of the Carbon Black logic and AI-driven analytics around vulnerabilities, both on the networking and workload side, to create what VMware is calling the service-defined firewall. So leveraging something like Carbon Black and App Defense to determine whether or not your processes are good, and leveraging NSX and VRNI to ensure that your network flows are secure.